Carolina Insider is presented by Wells Fargo, official sponsor of Carolina Athletics.
We are back. Time for another edition of Carolina Insider Live. My name is Jones Angell, as always, joined by Adam Lucas. We have a great show for you today. Adam, really looking forward to our guest, somebody who, gosh, this time last year, I think his life, both probably on and off the field, completely different. That is Chaz Surratt. Of course, Chaz made the move from quarterback to linebacker last year, just had a spectacular season, and has a whole different level of expectations on him this year.
In the span of 12 months, Chaz Surratt went from a question mark to really a point of strength for a Carolina defense that's expected to be much improved. And so looking forward to getting to talk to Chaz and hear about how he's done it.
Social drive coming up after that. That includes some singing by Tony Grimes, the Carolina freshman cornerback. We've got some cutout choices. We asked people to give us some arms. Can you demonstrate an arms crossed serious face there, Adam? See how tough Adam looks doing that? We asked people to send in some arms crossed serious face photos for potential cutouts in Keenan. We'll go through those and a lot more. We're going to get to that Surat interview in just a second. But Adam, it's almost game week for Carolina football. In fact, today would have been the day in the original schedule that Carolina would have been traveling to Central Florida to kick off the season, with the original schedule tomorrow. But of course, that all was pushed back. But only a couple days away, Adam, Carolina-Syracuse coming up in Kenan Stadium.
How nice to be able to really talk about football and really be excited about football and actual games being played. The Tar Heels are done with scrimmages. The coaches have moved full on into game planning for Syracuse. An ACC game just 10 days away. Excited it's finally here.
Carolina, in fact, has, as Adam referenced, they've gone to some Syracuse-specific practicing. They've got guys in different numbers for the scout team to get ready for the Orange coming in. It'll be the first time Syracuse has been here in Chapel Hill since the early 2000s. And Adam, one thing before we get to the Chaz Surratt interview is it will be a different feel in Kenan Stadium. Announced late last week that Carolina will have no fans in Kenan Stadium for the first two games in September. That's the game against Syracuse, and then the following week against Charlotte. There would be, after that, then take a look at the situation again and make a prudent choice moving forward. But seems like the right call, at least in the short term, for Carolina Athletics.
Well, you've got to make what you think is erring on the side of caution at this point in time. You know it's disappointing for the players and the coaches, because last year in Kenan Stadium was such an incredible atmosphere for every single home game, every single seat sold for every game. Now you move ahead to 2020, no seats sold for the first two games, but hopefully that'll change down the road. The Tar Heels just got to figure out a way to go out and do it without that added adrenaline that's created by all those students and fans that they enjoyed so much last year.
Maybe we'll talk to Chaz Surratt about that.
We should ask him.
Let's find out. We had a chance to catch up with Chaz a little bit earlier to talk about that topic and a lot more. Let's get to our conversation with Tar Heel linebacker Chaz Surratt.
The last time we had Chaz Surratt on the Carolina Insider, we thought it was kind of neat that, hey, it seemed like he'd learned how to play linebacker and maybe he'd be good at it. Now when we're having Chaz Surratt on the Carolina Insider, he's an all-ACC player. He's one of the best defensive players in the conference and in the country. So, Chaz, what have you learned in these last 12 months since we last saw you on the podcast that's enabled you to be so successful?
I don't know. I just think I'd have to contribute that to my teammates and my coaches, just putting in the work each day to try to be better. Just trying to get better each day and work hard. I had a lot of great players on our team last year that kind of helped me along the way, so I'm just thankful for them.
Chaz, is that how you delineate the two time periods? The first time you were on the audio-only podcast, and now when you're on the video podcast, that's really how you have time markers in your career?
Yeah, I guess so, with the COVID stuff going on, It's all different and all new.
Does it feel different this preseason for you? I mean, last year at this time, as Adam referenced, you were kind of learning all of this. You were hoping to be successful, but you had never really done it before in live action at this level, and now you have. How is it different for you right now?
Yeah, I think last year, just going into the season, I was just trying to, get my feet wet out there, try to, not make too many mistakes out there. But I mean, really coming into this camp, I'm really confident in what I can do on the field and how hard I've worked throughout this little quarantine period. And I'm just, really confident, playing really fast, I think I've gotten a lot better in each area on the field. So I'm just excited to go out there and play with my teammates.
You just mentioned the quarantine period. This has obviously been a very unique few last months. What have you learned that you feel like's made you a better football player and has helped you be a better leader of this defense over this unique time?
I don't know. I think, I used the time, and I think a lot of my teammates use the time just to separate ourselves from, the rest of the guys out there, just working together, just working out every day, training and watching film on a daily basis, try to get an edge on our competition. So we're a step ahead going into, this year.
How is this defense different now than it was a year ago, in your opinion?
I think we just play so confident. We have a lot of speed. We have a lot of guys that can really run. We got some good guys up front that I think are going to, play really well. So I'm excited to see how we, come together as a team and, put it all together next weekend. We've looked really good. I think we, from to the last game of the last season to now coming into camp or ending camp, I think we're totally different. I think we can definitely take it to a new level this year.
Coach Brown and Coach Bateman have both talked about the difference in speed that you just mentioned. How does that enable you to play differently as an 11-man defense? What are you able to do differently on the field with all that speed?
I mean, the ball carrier, we get to the ball carrier really fast. Everybody's getting to the ball, pursuit angles. That's kind of one of the things that I worked on. I think they've all been really great. And just, the speed of our defense, I just think helps everything. We get to the quarterback fast. We get to the running back fast. We're able to cover the receivers downfield. I just think it makes it a lot easier for everybody when everybody can run and really go.
I want to ask you two questions just about decisions that you've had to make over the last couple of months. Let's start with your decision after last season to stay for your senior year. You could have left. You could have been picked in the first couple of rounds of the NFL draft. Why was coming back the right choice for you?
I just felt like coming back for a year. It was my first year playing linebacker, so I kind of wanted to be NFL ready, be a starter day one in the NFL. So coming back, I just felt like I could be able to work on my game a little bit more, where I could polish it up and really be go really high for this upcoming draft. And again, I think we're going to be really special this year. So getting another chance to play with my guys and see what how the table unfolds this year is something I look forward to too.
And second decision that you had to make, which everybody had to make in this unusual time, in this unusual season, is whether you wanted to stick with this or opt out. I know your brother Sage elected to opt out at Wake Forest for this year. Why was your choice to stay and play this season?
I think me and Sage are in two different positions. He's played receiver his whole life. I think mine would have been a little different had I been playing linebacker for the last 5 years, but I'm still new at this, and again, like I said, I think we're going to be really special this year. So missing out on the opportunity, I think I would have regretted it. I think we got a shot to be really, really good. So coming back, developing myself more as a linebacker and getting to play with this team is something I'm looking forward to.
Last year at this time, opposing defenses didn't know, hey, you better scheme for Chaz Surratt. What do you expect to see differently in terms of how defenses treat you, or offenses treat you this year with their game plan?
Yeah, I definitely think, coming in, I was an unknown. So I definitely with, all the preseason stuff, that's the hype and stuff, I'm definitely going to be schemed up against. But, I'm ready for it. I mean, I'll just try to get better and be the best I can going into all the games. So I think I'm physically and mentally ready for that. And I know Coach Bateman's going to do a good job of scheming it up, where I can get, be able to make plays for our defense. So that's the thing that, I think we'll be okay.
Where can you get better? When you watch your film from last year, where do you see things that, okay, I can do that even better this year?
I definitely with the missed tackles, just, being too excited and overrunning the ball carrier. I did that. I got better throughout the year, but that was one of the main things that stuck out. And just continue to play with my hands. That's a big thing as a linebacker. So I think that's probably one of my biggest improvements from this time last year to now. So I'm just really excited, to go out there and show how much I've, developed in this time.
Of course, when you're building a team, Chaz, you got to build depth and you got to build for the future constantly. And the present right now is Chaz Surratt. It seems like the future in the next coming years is going to be Eugene Asante, Kadri Jackson at that linebacker spot. What can you tell us about those young guys, and how have you tried to help them come along?
I think they're going to be really good players for us. They're really fast and strong. I actually just got out the film room with both of them, so they're always trying to get better as well. And I'm always there to to give them tips and things that I see as well. I think they're going to be really a really good duo coming in. I know we'll have some packages where they can play a little bit. I know we have me and Gimmel, so it'll be hard for them to get out there all the time. But I think when they do get out there, they'll make an impact.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Coach Brown kind of let the cat out of the bag that you may slide to the outside a little bit at times, at least early in the year. What is that attractive to you? Maybe get outside and be able to rush a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it quiet because we're about to play. But yeah, I'll definitely be lined up all over the field this year. So I'm excited about that. And I think it'll be good for our defense to get our best 11 on the field.
When you do get to play next weekend and you run out of that Kenan Stadium tunnel and there's no one there other than your teammates and Syracuse, what challenges does that present as a player just to get your mind to the place it normally is on game day with nobody yelling your name?
Yeah, I know. We just had a scrimmage and we were basically, saying like this is how it's going to be in the game. There's nobody out there. But I think we'll just have to play off each other and feed off each other. I think that would be the biggest thing as a defense, is to go out there and have fun, making plays. I honestly don't know how we're gonna. It'll be a lot different having nobody out there, but my mom said she's gonna get a cutout, so it'll be. I'll still see your face, so it'll be okay. But I think we'll just have to play off each other and not get too high, too low, and not be complacent out there with no fans. Be able to bring our own juice each play. How many Surat family member cutouts can we get into Kenan Stadium this year, you think? She says she wants to put like her and my brother and my dad out there. I'm like, please don't put y'all, like, come on. We don't need that. But I don't know, you never know. She might put one out there. Maybe we can get like a baby picture of you, Chaz, and blow that up and put that in a seat up there. It's like past Chaz watching you. Yeah, if my mom was watching this, which I know she's going to watch it, she's probably going to do that. Now that you said it. So, I hadn't thought of that. That's a really good idea.
Get baby picture of Chaz.
Chaz, one last thing. Was there ever a point where that you were concerned that this season might not happen? And how did you, if those thoughts were in your mind, how did you try and stay motivated and continue to practice and continue to get ready with a season that did have some uncertainty? Yeah, I think it was a roller coaster every day, especially during camp. With conferences canceling and you're hearing of outbreaks all across the country. It was definitely one day, yeah, we're going to play. The next day, guys aren't thinking we're going to play. So definitely just being in the right headspace to come out there and practice and get better. And for me, and what I told the guys is just, control what you can control. The only thing we can, if we play September 12th, like, we have to be ready. Like, we can't, there's not going to be any excuses. Carolina fans aren't going to be like, they didn't think they were going to play. Like, we got to go out there and be ready. So we're prepared for, to go out there and play. And I think we did a good job of that. And I think Coach Brown was able to manage that really well during this time period too. That's Chaz Surratt, preseason All-ACC, preseason All-America on some list as well, going into his final year with Carolina football. Chaz, always great to see you. Thanks so much for your time, and look forward to seeing you out on the field here coming up soon on September 12th, and seeing you in the stands. Yeah. So baby pictures of you in the stands too. Looking forward to that too. Thank you. I appreciate it. We appreciate Chaz's time and really do look forward to seeing him and his teammates out on the field here coming soon. All right. Time to take a drive around social media. Adam, hands of 10 and 2 o'clock, not just one hand up there. All right, let's take a drive around social media. And we referenced this a little bit earlier. Tony Grimes, really talented young player for the Tar Heels, came in highly recruited. He, as a freshman, was popped up on the stage during the skit night for Carolina football. And well, let's just say that we're glad Tony is good at football, because here is an example of his singing. I think all of Tony's teammates speak for us when they throw the pieces of paper at him there at the end.
Apparently the rule was you had to wait 10 seconds into the performance before you could throw the paper just to give them a chance to see if they were good. I'll tell you one thing that really upsets me about that clip. Tony apparently told everyone he was singing a song by Mario from the 2000s called Just a Friend. Jones, that's Biz Markie, my friend. That is Biz Markie. You don't besmirch Biz Markie with this chitter chatter about Mario. Mario is a remix. We're talking about the original stuff, Tony Grimes. When we have you on this podcast, we're going to get this straightened out.
Well, I don't know where
I feel better.
I was about to say, you're all fired. I don't know where to go from there.
That was almost a how can you justify that, Tony Grimes.
All right, as we referenced, no fans in Kenan Stadium, at least for the first two games. So you've got to pivot off that, Adam. One way to pivot is get some cutouts of fans, allow fans the opportunity to purchase cutouts that can be placed in the seats in Kenan Stadium. So what we did here on the Carolina Insider is we asked people to send in photos, their arms crossed, serious face photo. We received a bunch, and then we will choose the winner, and we will pay for it and get that cutout into Kenan Stadium. Adam, we had a bunch of good ones. Let's start. Here is one from Rick Rutherford. Rick looking very serious, wearing his mask, so he's staying good and safe. That's good to see in front of his diploma.
Rick looks like he's ready to operate on someone.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe he goes in and a root canal comes after that. All right, Heather Justice sent one in. Heather, I'm impressed with Heather's hat more than anything else in this one, and looking very serious.
I like the sunglasses.
Yeah, Sherry Dennis sent one in. Sherry's looking like she's ready to go, got her Tar Heel gear up and ready.
05 Final Four pin, 09 Final Four pin right there on her hat.
And Michael Gaskins, Adam, this one was tough. Michael Gaskins came in right under the wire. Look at that. He's got a signed basketball. He's got big grits bleeding in the background. But Adam, we elected to go with Dennis Goss as our winner. Dennis he looks like he's ready for football.
He's got the shirt. It was difficult to beat kneeling at the altar of big grits, but somehow this did it. I like having the helmet on. He's ready to go. He's ready for game day, and he'll be in Kenan Stadium. Jones personally will cut it out, he'll get out the scissors, and they'll be front and center on next Saturday.
We'll put that one right next to the baby photo of Chaz Surratt. That will be in the stands there in Kenan. All right, some women's basketball news that also kind of bleeds over to men's basketball, and that's because there's been an addition to the women's basketball staff here in Chapel Hill, and Adam, it is a very familiar name.
This is great news for women's basketball and for Jackie Manuel, such a popular member of that 05 national championship team. He's been in coaching for, I guess, over a decade now, which is, that is hard to believe. But Jackie Manuel going to work with Courtney Banghart as the director of player personnel and also handle some recruiting functions. Great to have Jackie and his family back in Chapel Hill, and he'll do a great job for women's basketball. Not the only men's basketball alum in the news this week is also Harrison Barnes. They are not in the bubble still, but Harrison's still making news as he has joined the board of the First National Bank. Really no surprise with Harrison Barnes. If we were discussing this earlier, if you had to tell me someone, a recent Tar Heel letterman who is now on the board of a bank, I would probably say Harrison Barnes would be a safe bet, and great news for Harrison, who's had a very lucrative NBA career, and now he's got a place to put that money.
Yes, he knows all about banks, so he decided that would be a perfect place for him to go. All right, let's head back in time. Adam, we're going to the Wayback Machine to 1957. This clip made its way around social media here recently. It is from the Ed Sullivan Show, showing off some All-Americas in 1957. That includes, as you see there in the still, Lenny Rosenbluth, an all-time great at Carolina. Lenny, one of several familiar names that you might recognize. Let's take a look.
Wilt Chamberlain of Kansas. And the great all-time stars. From Seattle University, Elgin Baylor. From North Carolina University, Lenny Rosenbluth, one of the great stars of the year. And from West Virginia, Bob Hundley. So let's have a big hand for all of them. Now.
Look, I'm not one to tell Ed Sullivan how to do his job. Elgin Baylor and North Carolina University withstanding some some good stuff there, Adam, with Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, Lenny Rosenbluth, Hot Rod Hundley from West Virginia as well. Some great basketball names.
Is there anyone in America who sees the word Baylor and thinks, oh, that's Baylor? If I'm not mistaken, I think that appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show was why Lenny Rosenbluth didn't come back with the Tar Heels from Kansas City after winning the national championship in 1957. And I think Frank McGuire also flew straight to New York to appear on that show, so he missed the big welcome home ceremony at the airport.
Lenny Rosenbluth, of course, a great name, a lot of great names there in college basketball. But, Adam, it has been a tough week or so for college basketball, losing some great legends of the game. Cliff Robinson at the way too young age of 53. Of course, Cliff went on to a terrific NBA career, most notably, I think, with the Portland Trail Blazers. The great coach from Arizona, Lute Olson, 1997 national champion. And then also John Thompson, the legendary head coach of Georgetown, a champion in 1984. This photo here came after the 1982 national championship. Carolina defeated Georgetown, yet you see, I think, you get captured in this photo by Hugh Morton, just the type of relationship that Dean Smith and John Thompson had.
I think that says it all about their relationship then and for the rest of their lives. They've both been quoted many times as saying when their phones rang at 1 a.m., their wives immediately knew who was calling. It was either John Thompson calling Dean Smith or Dean Smith calling John Thompson. And of course, John Thompson, the first recipient of the Dean Smith Award here in Chapel Hill, one of the most entertaining speeches we've seen at that type of event. He actually came, and I believe, Jones, that what he said was he would rather eat a bug than go to one of those dinners, but he came to the dinner because it was honoring Dean Smith. It was that important to him. He
very famously arrived at Coach Smith's retirement press conference in Chapel Hill. He was also here for Coach Smith's service after he passed away, and Coach Williams had a great statement earlier this week just remembering that Coach Thompson got there very early, kind of sat by himself in the back for an hour just reflecting on that particular moment. So certainly a big loss for college basketball, a big loss for the game of basketball, and felt here in Chapel Hill. Adam, we do, as we mentioned, have football coming up soon, just a little more than a week before the Tar Heels kick it off, and we thought we'd give you just a little taste. We know you can't be in Kenan Stadium this year, at least for the first couple of games, but the Tar Heels went through some of their media responsibilities earlier this week. In fact, this past weekend, where got a little hype, got to show off for the camera, got to show some of their stuff off. So I wanted to give you just a little taste of some of the excitement of Carolina football before we left you.
Photo shoot. Yeah, flash. Hold up. Pose, yeah. Pose, yeah. Pose. I am. Photo shoot. Pose. I am. Pose. It's a photo shoot.
Is this a thing now? Are we doing this now?
People keep giving me really cool shoes, and when that occurs, I'm going to put them on the desk. I think it's really cool that football loaned us that whole setup. That's what Jones and I do before we come out here for the live pod. We just get in there with the neon lights and we're putting on our receiving gloves. I'm clearly putting on my Fire Jordans, and then we come out here and do the pod.
I have to admit, yeah, Bo Corrales and Sam Howell and the other guy, Trey Morrison looked a little better in that than.
One thing I've learned is it's not all the lighting that makes you look cool. You have to actually be cool in order to pull that off.
Well, it has been a cool time with you today. We appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon. We look forward to being with you again next week. And don't forget that we'll be back next week to lead you up to the kickoff for Carolina and Syracuse. That game time has been announced for noon next Saturday in Kenan. All right, we'll bring in the equipment to get Adam's legs off the table, and we'll see you next week here on the Carolina Insider.
See you later, Big Grit.